The Facebook learning phase. What is it? How does it work? How do we manage it? How do we deal with it? It's one of the more irritating parts about Facebook and is confusing. So we're going to talk about it today on today's YouTube video. My name's Adam. I'm the owner of Paracore. We're a pay-per-click lead generation agency in Phoenix, Arizona. And this is our YouTube channel where we talk about all things pay-per-click. All right, so we're going to talk about the learning phase. It's confusing. I also have a couple Facebook pages, support pages up that I want to talk through. I like talking through them in this way because it shows where the data is so you can find it yourself, but also just provides a lot of the detail that we need to talk through. All right, so first things first, I'm going to talk about how to find, actually no, I'm not going to talk about that first. I'm going to talk about the learning phase in general first. So the deal with the learning phase is that the learning phase happens over a 7-day period. Actually, I'll go here first. Happens over a 7-day period and requires about 50 optimizations for Facebook to learn how to deliver on that ad set. It's on an ad set level, not a campaign level. So you create an ad set, you put in ads, you put an audience, and Facebook is like, we don't know how to optimize this yet. So we have a learning phase. We need to get 50 conversions to determine how to deliver this audience so that it converts the best. So that's the learning phase. And it's typically either 7 days or 50 conversions, and you have to let it run to optimize. So if you launch a campaign and it's doing great or not doing well in the first 2 days, it's usually not indicative of the long-term performance of the campaign. So right here we can see performance stabilizes around 50 optimizations since its last significant edit. Okay, so you launch the campaign, and we see this all the time. We see it on our internal campaigns all the time. You launch the campaign, it's running, it's performing, it's not performing, it's doing its thing. Let's say we get out of the learning phase, right? We have 50 conversions. So now we want to start optimizing, okay? The problem is once you start optimizing the campaign, it starts kicking the campaign back into the learning phase. So certain actions push it back into learning. And this right here is talking about best practices during the learning phase. So you should wait to edit your ad set until it's out of the learning phase. Okay, that's great. But if you have like a client barking down your throat, barking down, breathing down your neck, barking at you, breathing down your neck, you need to start making changes. So thank you, Facebook, but that's not always realistic. Avoid unnecessary edits that cause the ad sets to run into the learning phase. We're going to talk about that in a second. Avoid high ad volume. So don't put too many ads in the ad set. If you have like 30 ads in there, then it's basically saying, okay, we have a $200 daily budget on this ad set or on this campaign or whatever, and we have all these ads. So instead of taking $200 and distributing it over 5 ads to see which one works best, we're distributing it over 30 ads. It's going to water down the amount of money that can be spent on the ads, and it's going to distribute it more narrowly. So it won't be able to learn as quickly. And then it says use realistic budgets. So, you know, a $15 daily budget, unfortunately, is not enough money to pull something out of the learning phase. And it's unfortunate because a lot of advertisers don't have large advertising budgets. But in order to get out of the learning phase, if you have a $40 cost per lead and you need 50 leads in 7 days, that's $2,000, and that's a $285 daily budget. So that's about a $10,000 monthly budget. I mean, that's no joke. So is that 285? Sorry, $8,500 monthly budget. So that's, you know, not a small amount of money, and most advertisers are not starting with $10,000 a month. So it says use realistic budgets, but you know, that's most people can't do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to significant edits here, and the problem is you start the campaign and you launch it, and it's doing its thing, it's optimizing. Let's say it's the client wants to try new creative, or we want to try a new audience. Now, if the campaign's performing well, I would highly recommend you just don't touch anything. If the campaign is performing well, don't touch anything. If you want to scale the campaign, scale it very slowly. The rule of thumb that we typically use is 10% every day. If you want to be really cautious, you can do 10 or 15% every 48 hours. So if your daily budget is $200 today, then tomorrow I might go to $220. The next day I might go to $242, if that's right. The next day I might go to $260, whatever it is, right? So 10% every day, or 15% every 2 days. Because down here it says a change in changes to the following may or may not be significant depending on the magnitude of the change. For example, if you increase your budget from 100 to 101, that isn't likely to cause it to go in the learning phase. However, if you go from 100 to 1,000, it may re-enter. This is the worst paragraph I've ever seen in Facebook's help documents. The range that we're talking about is 100 to 101 or 100 to 1,000. Thanks, Facebook. That's very, very helpful. That's incredibly helpful. What would have been more helpful is if you said it would likely not enter the learning phase if you went from 100 to 115, 15% increase. And it may enter the learning phase if you go from 100 to 130, 30% increase. That'd be a lot more helpful. But no, we're talking about 1,000, a 10x increase or a 1% increase, the worst. So anyways, campaign's performing. You want to start scaling, scale slowly. I like to do 10% every day. It doesn't seem to kick it back into the learning phase. So you can do that. If you are seeing it kick into the learning phase because of a significant edit, I'm going to show you how to look at that. Then just reduce the amount that you're increasing it. If you want to just be introduced to new creative to be fun and test and like do your job as a marketer and it's performing, don't do that because the following are considered significant edits which are going to push back in learning phase. Any change to targeting. So if you change the audience, if you change the placements, if you change anything, it's going to go back into learning phase. So one change, like one placement change, is going to reset learning for 50 conversions. If you change the creative, literally if you change the UTM tag on an ad, which has nothing to do with anything except for tracking, it's going to kick it back into learning. If you create a new ad, kick it back into learning. Change a headline, going to go into learning. If you change anything on an ad where it resets the engagement, it's going to push it back into learning for the entire ad set. It's so annoying. You can tell by the tone of my voice that I'm annoyed. If you change an optimization event, it will. If you add a new ad to your ad set, it'll go back into learning. If you pause your ad set for over 7 days, this one's really important, it'll go back into learning. But if you just pause it for 3 days, it won't. So that's really cool. So that's nice. I mean, 7 days is enough time. You can pause it for 3 days, and then you can start up again, and it should be just fine. It should be just fine. So that's great. Changing bid strategy will kick it into learning again. A couple things that may or may not, ad set spending limit. We already talked about that. Bid control and, oh, excuse me, that's different. Your ad set spending limit amount. We don't ever really do that. Those are your spending limits. I can show you that if you want, but that's different. Budget is what we were talking about. So common questions, how long does learning take? With campaign budget, same time. Will CBO cause the ads enter? No, it won't. I'm not going to read through these. You guys can check these out. All right, so now that we've talked about learning phase, just to recap, learning phase is the time period it takes for Facebook to properly analyze and optimize your audience along with your ads, along with your results. So basically Facebook's saying, all right, you did these things, you built this campaign, we're going to spend 50 conversions, whatever, 7 days to kind of figure out what sort of numbers we can give you. The early numbers are not going to be indicative of your long-term success. So that's what Facebook's saying. If you change anything, we're going to reset it, okay? So now we're thinking, okay, well, how do we like manage this within the ads manager? So I have a couple different campaigns here. This one is, I'm going to do active so we can just see these. So this one is a large interest-based campaign. This one is active. It gets, I don't know, probably 10 conversions a day or something like that. It's doing fine. So this is like Learned, right? It's doing its thing. This one's learning limited over a 30-day period. Yeah, 30 days. It only has 20 conversions and it says 14 optimization. That's based on last significant edit. So this one's gone out of the 7 days. So after 7 days, if it hasn't optimized, it's going to say learning limited. We're on campaign budget optimization here. The campaign is spending way more money on this interest because this one has typically performed a lot better. And so this one's not exiting the learning phase, so it's saying learning limited. That happens after 7 days if you don't get 50 conversions. Now what we can do is we can hit this inspect button and we can say, okay, well, like what has happened throughout the life of this campaign? So over the last 30 days, I've not made any changes in the last 22 days. Great. But here you can see chart area, and this is significant edit. It has a circle here, which is annoying because this is not the icon you see on a significant edit. If it's an ad, it'll be a different icon, which I'll show you. But this is saying campaign budget updated and campaign budget updated. I'm going to view details. Doesn't do anything. Cool, Facebook. If you scroll to the bottom, this will show you the campaign budget updates. So these are lifetime budgets. I've been changing the lifetime budget and increasing it. And so that's kicking it out of learning and it's resetting the algorithm, which is super annoying. So these are big changes that have taken place that have reset the learning. And that's how you can see it in this inspect. I'm going to go to another campaign I have, which is this one. No, I'm going to go to this one. Same thing, inspect, or no, yeah, I'll do this one. So this one is saying, all right, well, so like I said before, this is not the same icon. So here I created 5 ads. So it reset the learning, significant edit. 5 ads here, change, change. So I'm making these changes, like this is when I created the campaign, I believe. And I want to view details, hit it, great, thanks Facebook for not doing anything. So I have to scroll on the bottom. So this is saying campaign budget's updated, ad created. Oh yeah, here we go. You can scroll all the way down. Audience change, lowest cost bids from nothing, so this is when the campaign was created, ad created, ad created, ad created. So these are all resetting the learning. And you can see all these different charts here. I just did it today. I added a bunch of ads because this campaign is underperforming. And look at my cost per lead. It went from, where's the number? It's not showing me a number. Oh, 169. It went from like, you know, $50, $40, $24, $31, all the way up to $169. Terrible. So these are the significant edits. So that's how you can see significant edits in your ad account. So what we learned is, to summarize, when you launch a campaign, let it optimize. You need to have a healthy enough budget. If you don't have a healthy enough budget, it's going to be learning limited, and that's fine. If a campaign's performing, don't change it. Just don't mess with it. Tell your clients, hey, the campaign's performing. We can scale it, but please don't introduce new creative if it's performing and acceptable to everybody. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. You might blow up the campaign. If you're scaling, scale slow. Do 10% every day, 10 or 15% every 2 days, and watch these significant edits and how they affect your campaigns. If you have a high enough budget and you're seeing, you know, conversions come through and then you see it go totally wacky, it may just be the day. It may just be auction competition. So I have another video about looking at audience fatigue and auction competition that you can look at, but it might just be a daily fluctuation, or you may have reset the learning and it may have screwed up the campaign. This campaign that we're looking at right now, I was running this at nearly $1,000 a day, and I increased the budget too aggressively. I increased it by $500 a day, which I should not have done. And after that, it just totally plummeted, and now I've brought it back down to $500 per day because it's not performing. The cost per lead shot up like 3 times. So that was a mistake. I knew the rule, and I tested it, and it bit me. So that is learning. That is not campaign. That's the learning phase in a nutshell. And I went through it quickly, but honestly, these Facebook help docs are very helpful. Check these out. You can just search, you know, about the learning phase, significant edits and learning phase, and these are things that you'll want to keep in your back pocket, really pay attention to. All right, that's it. If you enjoyed the video, please please like it, subscribe, leave me a comment, ask any questions, whatever, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.